Good morning folks and welcome back to a cheats edition of Vlogmas. It's the 8th of December today. I am ever so slightly hungover. But today we are heading to Treviso, better known as the home of tiramisu here in northeast Italy. And we're also going to be kind of mooching around Venice. Going to be doing a little bit of being a tour guide and also just spending some time with friends that are here. And I'll take you along with me for that. We're in Venice. We were just in Treviso. Just had some gorgeous carrot cake. And we're now heading to take some tiramisu to take away from said bakery to some friends. Very, very quick, very fast-paced morning. I'm still not fully awake, but it's been nice so far. I think so far these vlogs are making it seem like I'm way more sociable and full of more friends than I actually am. It's just one of those kind of situations where I think I also mentioned in the last vlog that there's just a crossover of so many people that have been visiting this week that I'm having to squeeze everyone in. And this never happens. And when it does happen, they all arrive at the same time. A moment of attention to talk about these earrings I found at this Christmas market for only €7 in Treviso today. Any Italians watching or anyone who's visited may recognise these two biscuits. The pandistelle, which are super famous like chocolate cocoa biscuits here, and gocciole, which are like famous vanilla chocolate chip biscuits here. These are so cute, €7, and I'd say perfect for my line of work. It is another working day. Tomorrow we are off finally, but it is another working day, which means we're prioritizing productivity. We've scheduled last week's vlog. We're putting away the clothes. We're cleaning the floor. We're going to be doing a little bit of exercise. If I have time, we're going to be washing the hair, which means that tomorrow we can focus on important, lovely, festive things such as wrapping presents, going for a little walk to see all the lights in the main square here in the mainland part of Venice, and perhaps a little bit of festive baking if I'm feeling it and if we have time, or the daylight to actually shoot anything tomorrow. But as I say, today is about prep and productivity, which typically doesn't make for particularly interesting content, but here we are. It's time because these things are sitting waiting to be wrapped inside bags here, not these batteries or any of the mess underneath, but this stuff here is waiting to be wrapped. And I want to have it out and like have it almost like a decoration of its own, instead of just sitting in this bag. So let's get into it. And it weighs a ton. Right. think that's everything.
I really like to use these like reusable things for wrapping. Back home in Scotland, I always have these boxes. I've been using the same like gift boxes for about 10 years now. And the same kind of paper, tissue paper and things that go in them. But I also like these kind of little reusable bag things, so that, you know, there's a paper bag that someone can reuse if they have to, or they can use it for their recycling. Doesn't really matter. And they've got a couple of little stacks that they can either kind of re-gift or they can use for storing knickknacks in their house. And I don't know, it's just, I like it. I decided my bottle wrapping skills are improving or getting worse with age, but here we are. Time to review those chocolate bars I got last week, folks, so we get a little bit of content up on YouTube. My expectations are very middling. Let's find out. Tonight, you have to see the trouser boot combo. The boots from the last vlog are everything I needed them to be. I feel like a BG. Folks, it's Friday. Happy Friday. I very nearly forgot that there is another transport worker strike today. So that means that instead of getting, you know, into Venice maybe half an hour before I need to start work, in order to get into Venice, I need to get there 5 hours before I start work. But that's fine. It's fine. Which means today we're doing breakfast out, somewhat unexpectedly, finding some spots to read and taking some very long walks, and then work. Folks, we're almost at the halfway point of December already, and that is terrifying. Exciting, but terrifying. Yesterday, ended up spending my very long hours before work in somewhere particularly lovely, which was actually recommended to me by one of my colleagues, like weeks ago, perhaps even months ago. And let me tell you, though it was quite costly compared to the usual kind of Italian bakery experience, absolutely knockout, delish, very happy. The kind of chocolate ring thing you saw on that plate was their chocolate hazelnut and almond patty breast, which is this kind of very classic French pastry made with a couple of rings of choux, or one ring of choux cut in half normally, I think, actually, filled with a kind of nutty praline and filled with this cream that was so smooth, just gorgeous, absolutely delish. was pretty expensive, but for something like that, you do kind of expect it. So today, no strike, but we are preparing ourselves a little bit earlier than normal. It's Saturday, so it's obviously another working day, but we are off to have brunch, folks, and not out because clearly the budget was already blown yesterday. I'm off to have brunch with someone I used to work with who is leaving Venice and leaving Italy very soon. So this is like the kind of last hurrah. I need to show you this. Now, I don't know how widely available this is. I literally only found about it less than 12 hours ago I found out about this wine. But I'm bringing this wine and I swear it's one of the most delish things I've ever had. It looks like apple juice and it almost tastes like it. No idea where you can find it or how much it will cost in wherever you can find it, but you should try and find it. And then later this afternoon after work, it's a sunny Saturday, so I have a feeling that there will be plenty to do. And I hope that tomorrow we can have a nice, slow-paced, relaxed morning at home. Not just because it's Sunday, but because I'm in need of it. Even waking up at 9 today was like, folks, it's Sunday, which means we have just officially come to the end of the second week of December. Terrifying. Today's another working day. We're off to go and make ourselves some lunch, something cozy, tomato and cheesy. The gnocchi that you've probably already seen at least twice in these vlogmas vlogs. It's been a busy week, but it's been a lovely week. Next week is going to be all about that run up to Christmas, when we're talking about work in terms of preparations, when we're talking about also things at home, because people will start to leave to go home for Christmas, so you've got to squeeze in all those little social numbers as well. I have maybe a cookie recipe in mind for next week. I have maybe even a panna cotta recipe in mind for next week, still to be seen. But much like the rest of the weekend has been, today is about cooking, eating, chilling. And, you know, the service and the prep and the transport and, you know, the commuting and stuff in between. But, you know, we'll focus on the nice things. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one just like you enjoyed last week. And can't wait to bring you more Christmassy goodness next week.